Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are going to overview some changes into Elven spellbook. First, new visual effect for the Ring of Adamant ability. I liked the old effect, but I wanted to embody the effect of the silver grass that is described in legends and myths. Silver grass appeared in the places where elves had passed or gathered to dance. Maybe I will change the description too, but for now it has the original name. Second, also the ability Elven Mist was replaced on Elven Spirits. That creatures were mentioned by Legolas in the books, who pointed that Elven Spirits are very dangerous. Since the time I read about them, I wanted to embody that concept. The ability of Elven Mist is very underrated and actually is one of the strongest abilities among all analogical abilities at 4th tier and maybe even the strongest. This ability is stronger even than the Army of Dead because this ability works by the same logic as a tornado, but with wider by 10 times radius. The damage type is unresistible, that is not included in invulnerability modifier, which makes it impossible to protect units against such ability. When I saw this list, I realized that there is someone even more crazy than me. So, and while you can destroy Army of Dead with Word of Power to cancel the effect, the Elven Mist ability cannot be neutralized. Moreover, enemy units are trapped inside because their speed is lowered by minus 50%, minus 25% damage and minus 20% armor and cancels all leaderships, plus makes units of the player invisible. So the ability is strong and wasn't replaced because of weakness, but just because I wanted to create something new. Elven spirits will be summoned not immediately, but the ability starts like Summon Dragon. Elven spirits are taking their path through the Middle Earth and join the battle. So now we can summon 30 Elven spirits for 60 seconds. So one such unit has damage 120 of hero type, that is as a rule 2 times stronger than magic type, in radius of 25, and delay between shots is 800 milliseconds. So 30 such unit will cause 3600 damage for a single strike and making 1.25 hits per second, which gives us 4500 damage per second, and for 60 seconds they will create 270,000 damage in the radius that is 2 times wider than in Oathbreakers. That will make the damage per burst 675,000. Additionally, we have passive weapons that works like a whirlwind that continuously harms enemies with damage of 60, reflected type in the radius of 45 with delays in 500 milliseconds between shots. So per hit for 30 spirits it will cause 1800 points of damage. It makes 2 hits per second, so it will cause 3600 points of damage per second, and for 60 seconds it will cause 216,000 damage in the radius, 4 times wider than for Oathbreakers, making 972,000 damage per burst, and total damage for 60 seconds is 1,647,000. The ability was balanced with the Army of Dead, that's why we multiply the damage on the radius, because Oathbreakers have radius 10, and bigger radius means more damage per area. We summon 6 hordes of Oathbreakers, which contain 16 mini-hordes that we consider as 16 single units, because it looks like 3 units, but actually it's 1. So we have 96 units. Each of them has damage 300 of magic type, so it's 1.7 times higher than Elven spirits have. And delays between shots is 300 milliseconds, so they can make 3 hits per second. So per strike they create 28,000 points of damage and 95,000 per second, and total damage for 30 seconds is 2,851,000. As you can see by numbers, Army of Dead cause 42% more damage than Elven spirits, but in reality Elven spirits are more destructive. The answer why Elven spirits can cause more damage while we summon only 30 of them, while Army of Dead has 96 units with higher damage, regardless to the fact that magical damage has as a rule less impact than hero type. The answer to that question lays on the logical behavior of such units. That 96 Oathbreakers are located inside 3 hordes. A horde is a container like a ship. First, horde needs to acquire a target, then units inside the horde can select and attack the enemy, and that is time that is limited. So regardless to the speed and attack speed of units, first the ship needs to reach a target, and only then the crew on it can take actions. Elven spirits are all separated units, and they don't need to wait on the container response and don't change their direction with the container to acquire a target. Additionally, they are strong against flying units, but I haven't included this weapon to the calculation, because it attacks only flying units that are not very common in the game, and despite the fact that it looks like Beam of Light of Gandalf, this weapon is 15 times weaker than his weapon and has no additional multipliers. And Elven spirits have the same armor as Army of Dead, which means that they are also vulnerable to magic. That's all about changes in the Elven spellbook. Thank you for watching and happy modding!